Hello everyone, this is Dr. Shiva. Today we're going to discuss Tinospora cordifolia on diabetes. We're going to be doing a systems biology analysis, and I hope you enjoy it. It's going to be an interesting discussion because we're going to talk about the molecular basis of Tinospora cordifolia and then the molecular pathways of diabetes. So let's just jump right into it. Tinospora cordifolia is referred to as the queen of all herbs. Tinospora cordifolia is a natural herbal shrub widely recognized for its therapeutic potential. It is traditionally used in the treatment of various chronic and metabolic disorders, including jaundice, gout, and diabetes. The plant's medicinal properties are attributed to its phytochemical richness, with beneficial compounds found in its leaves, stems, roots, and extracts. These phytocompounds contribute to its wide-ranging health benefits and support its reputation as a valuable herb in traditional and modern medicine. Now, many of you know the approach that I take. Everything I look at, be it politics, be it health issues, or science, is always from a systems science approach. And all of you can learn that approach at truthfreedomhealth.com. So let me begin before we start our talk on Tinospora cordifolia on diabetes by sharing with you my journey to systems. And we'll be starting.
Welcome to VA Shiva. VA Shiva is a product of my journey across East and West, science and tradition, ancient and modern, that brings you the science of systems so you can become a force for truth, freedom, health. VA Shiva is a platform of revolutionary education, community building, and weaponry for unleashing local activism. My journey to VA Shiva begins in the chaos of Bombay, where I experienced diverse religions, languages, castes, and in a small village that had no running water, no electricity, where my grandmother, a poor village farmer, practiced Siddha, an ancient system of Indian medicine over 10,000 years old. She observed one's face, the art of Samudrika Lakshanam, to understand a body's unique constitution, allowing her to deliver the right medicine for the right person at the right time. Watching my grandmother heal others, I was inspired to study medicine, but I was also aware of the corrupt caste system of India, which denigrated a human being, where my family were considered low caste untouchables, where one's birth determined one's destiny. The grit and determination of my mother and father led them to get educated and to come to America, a 1 in a trillion event. Their actions inspired me to work hard and excel. While in 9th grade, I attended New York University in a computer science program, and subsequently, at the age of 14, was given a full-time job as a research fellow at what is now known as Rutgers Medical School in the heart of Newark, New Jersey. There I investigated the system of sleep using mathematics, computer science, and biology for sudden infant death syndrome. It was there in Newark where I invented email, when I was the first to convert every feature of the physical, paper-based inter-office mail system, including inbox, outbox, memo, carbon copy, blind carbon copy, attachments, into its electronic equivalent, a system which I named email, a term that I was the first to coin. On August 30th, 1982, I was awarded the first U.S. copyright for the invention of this system, recognizing me as the inventor of email. At that time, copyright was the only way to protect software inventions. I went on to MIT, where I earned 4 degrees across multiple systems of engineering: electrical, mechanical, design, biological. That training led me to invent many other systems for advancing humankind. EchoMail, the world's first intelligent email management system. Cytosolve, a computational biology system for eliminating animal testing to discover new medicines faster, cheaper, and safer. And to the creation of a whole systems methodology for certifying clean food. These innovations led me back on a Fulbright to India, where I discovered the missing link between Eastern medicine and Western systems theory, honoring my grandmother, to develop Your Body, Your System, a powerful tool that will help you understand how your body is a system and how the inputs of food, supplements, and exercise bring your body back to its natural system state. And Systems Health, an integrative educational discipline that is now integrated into the VA Shiva platform that will enable you to learn the science of systems, the science of everything, be it your body as a system or our society and politics as a system, to reveal the foundational interrelationships between truth, freedom, health. Now is the time for you to be the light, learn the science of systems, build community, and weaponize yourself to unleash the activism necessary to deliver truth, freedom, health in your local community. Welcome to VA Shiva.
All right, everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be having a discussion on Tinospora cordifolia on diabetes. I want to thank our Cytosolve team for organizing this. We do this as a noble service to support people in really understanding nature as a system and food as medicine. So that video really should give you an opportunity to understand that when you take a systems approach, you get a much closer opportunity to see things as they are. All right, so let's continue. What motivates anything that we do at Truth Freedom Health or Cytosolve or any of our solutions or anything I personally do is to recognize that those in power are literally killing people right now. And this is not hyperbole when you look at the data globally. Lifespan is actually going down, okay? The curvature of lifespan is going down, and the cost of living, which means the ability for people to survive, is explosively going up. So if you just look at this graph, unemotional and in a detached way, you see that those people who have executed this have really no interest in you as a human being. They want to kill you. They really do. And this is not something that just occurred over the last 5 years, 10 years. This is something, as you look at this graph, it's been going on for a long time, at least 50 to 60 years. And that process has been going on from those on the left and the right, people claiming to be independent, people claiming to be agents of change. But all these people claim to do that. They come top down. They come from the swarm itself. And those of you who want to understand what I mean by swarm, you should go see shattertheswarm.com. But those in power are not interested in your health because they're not one of us. That's unfortunate. So the decision you need to make is, when you look at a graph like this, do you want to save yourself? No one else is coming to save you. And if you think voting for one of these fools is going to do it, it's not. My running for president, by the way, is not about saving you, but it's about giving you tools so you can save yourself. But that's what this is about. I want to let you know anything I do be talking about Tinospora cordifolia, or be it turmeric or election fraud. All of this is motivated by this fundamental curve. Do you want to save yourself when you're ready? You know, I've created the tools to do that, so you don't have to waste your life. That's what resulted in this curve. It's not any one thing. And that's why we say this is a systems problem. It's not something that's going to get fixed by tweaking one little thing. Now, what has been the driving force that has resulted in this is a number of important factors. It's not any one thing. It's been the destruction of the immune system in the healthcare space. It's been the fact that environmentally, it's very difficult to get clean, healthy food. But guess what? Going back to healthcare, many of you know I saved hundreds of millions of people's lives during the quote-unquote pandemic in March of 2020 by giving people solutions and educating people on how the body is a system. No other person did that except, frankly, me. And the credit has to be given because of my concern for everyday people. That's where I come from. It wasn't about pro-vax and anti-vax. It's about the immune system. So we educated people on that, but they destroyed your immune systems. We wanted to educate people. And one of the other stresses has been the fact that it's very difficult to get good, clean food. The other process is that the educational system has been under stress. People are not learning system science. They don't see things as they are. They're being taught fake science, a reductionist science when it comes to innovation. Most people do not know how to look, be resourceful, be it simple things in an office or organizationally, or how to solve something. They're expecting the government to do it or someone else to do it for them. And when it comes to governance, we have corrupt leaders. When it comes to the economy, people really don't want to save anything. They're not taught to save. And there are massive amounts of income inequality. So Truth Freedom Health, my systems creation, which involves education, which involves community, which involves courses, it's a platform, is the solution that is the only solution that provides a systems approach to enabling you to save yourself. There's no one else coming to save us. And that systems approach involves the ability to strengthen your immune system. It involves the ability to eat local healthy foods on a budget. You get clean food. That's through our certified clean solution, which has been around now for over a decade. It comes from understanding system science, so you learn how to get truly educated. It comes from learning how to educate young people to innovate. It comes from us developing our own leaders in our community. The swarm creates its leaders to maximize power, profit, and control. Our movement is creating leaders for truth, freedom, health. It also comes to teaches people how to be economical and resourceful. There are many forces, which unfortunately teach people to spend money on stuff that's actually garbage. But that's what our movement does. It teaches people these tools. If you want them, go to truthfreedomhealth.com. And every Thursday, you can see right here on Thursdays at 11 a.m. or Thursdays at 8 p.m., we host 2 open houses. There's no cost to it. We bring together incredible people who share their journeys to systems. But it's an opportunity for you to become what we call the Truth, Freedom, Health Warrior Scholar, where you get educated. So you're not waiting for someone else to do that. But again, everything that I do is motivated from this deep interest to help you help yourself. So Truth, Freedom, Health is that platform. Again, 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. We do every Thursday. We do that. You can RSVP right now to vashiva.com orientation. Join us on Thursdays. Our platform teaches you to think, fight, and heal all together. Think, fight, heal. And as a part of that, we have these platforms, a Leadership Training Institute and Systems Health Institute, where we are educating leaders to really help others by seeing that the only way to do this is by the right medicine for the right person at the right time. We give you tools to do that. And the Cytosolve Open Science Institute is a powerful framework for you to have the tools that you can create new products, that you can be part of the solution. And so we provide you with a framework of solutions. So by way of example, when you look at food as medicine, we've created the Certified Clean, Certified Raw certification. So global certification through this process from the time the food is sourced to the time it hits the table or your mouth. We have made a very high standard on what is clean food. So where's the food coming from? It's a global standard. The next thing is Cytosolve. This platform allows us to understand the food and what are the compounds in that and how we combine those compounds to create powerful medicines. And then finally, just because things come from food doesn't mean they're all good for everyone. Technology systems, health trains people to figure out the right food for the right person at the right time. You see? So we have created a framework for you to help yourself. No one else has this. So we're not relying on the government to solve problems because it's corrupt. We're not relying on people to lower their standards. You don't need to do that. This movement is really about you and finding those people who want to save themselves. And so we have these very powerful solutions. Cytosolve took me about 25 years to do. System health has been a life journey, and clean food certification is something where it's a global standard. Every government, if they really cared, would adopt the standard because we know how to track the food. More importantly, it's a bottom-up standard. But think about what we've done. This has been a lot of hard work without any government support, without any venture capital support. All of this I've done in the midst of many other things. Yes, I burned the candle at both ends because I'm deeply motivated, because I care, and I never forgot where I came from. And life has given me the opportunity to create these platform solutions. These are platform solutions, but if you want to participate in the challenge, you want to get off your butt and want to save yourself. If you do, we have those solutions. Anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you. This is deeply personal to me. We've created these solutions, and go to truthfreedomhealth.com and you guys can support yourself and us by contributing there. But when you contribute, you get the opportunity to learn an incredible amount. You get the opportunity to learn a lot, okay? You get the opportunity to become a Truth, Freedom, Health Warrior Scholar, so you're not a slave. My goal is not to keep you on a plantation, but to get you off the plantation. So go there, watch the Shatter the Swarm video, then get on to the Get Off the Plantation course, absolutely free, and then become a Truth, Freedom, Health Warrior Scholar. Or you can go right to being that. But this is a noble service that we're doing. But the whole goal here is for you to get educated and not be enslaved. So when I talk about Tinospora, or when I talk about moringa, when I talk about any of these foods, it's always in this context of a systems approach. So anything we do has to integrate science and politics and health. Anyone who does not want to talk politics is one of the most ignorant person in the world. As the great writer Alberta Brick says, they want to hide their head in the sand. People in America, in many ways, have the luxury of doing that. But if you're hiding your head in the sand and you don't want to be political, understand that's a very selfish way to be, because you're doing it at the sacrifice of all the other working people. So those people in the United States must rise up. They must become political and healthy and want to fight for freedom. So if you want to, get strong. If you want to be healthy, if you want to be smart, then you've come to the right movement. But if you want to be dumb and you want to be worse and you want to be, sick, it's not the place to be. But before we start on Tinospora, I wanted to give you this background of what motivates what we do. So let me play you this video, and we're going to go to Tinospora cordifolia on diabetes. What is truth, freedom, health? And why all of you should become a warrior scholar. I do these videos, these very, very informative videos, but my ulterior motive is to motivate you guys to go learn this stuff and become warrior scholars, because then you'll be able to understand where the systems approach comes from. So let me play this video, and we'll start today's discussion on Tinospora cordifolia on diabetes.
We have allowed our country to be taken over from within, and the end goal is you will have a homogenized world where we will become slaves, because there is a condition among the elites that really thinks they're better than you, deep down inside them, that you don't deserve the freedoms you have. They don't. This reality is what people need to wake up to, and we need to all unite working people. There's only one movement that can do that, and that is the movement that we started creating here in Massachusetts, the movement for truth, freedom, and health. Look, I've been a student of politics since I was a 4-year-old kid, studying revolutionary movements, left wing, right wing. There's a physics, there's a nuclear science to destroying the establishment. To build a bridge, you need to understand Newton's equation. You need to understand the laws of gravity. You need to understand Poisson's ratio. There is a way to build a revolution. And that's why I put this together. My goal is to train an army of truth, freedom, and health leaders. We don't need followers like social media. We need leaders, but they need training because the educational system does not teach them history, nothing. So in 3 hours, that's what I've started doing. That's the solution. We got to train people. First, with understanding what a system is, the dynamics of all systems that affect nature. The second is understanding the interconnection between truth, freedom, and health. Freedom is the ability to move freely, communicate freely, talk freely. Without freedom, you cannot convert ideas, hypothesis into truth, which is science. And without freedom, you can't really get to truth. And without truth, you make up fake problems and fake solutions, which means you destroy our health. And without health, which is the infrastructure of us and our body, you can't fight for freedom. Truth, freedom, health. Third concept is it has to be bottoms up. Working people, people who work uniting. And what the right wing has done is whenever you say working people unite, that must be communist. Meanwhile, they've let the Democrats run unions, which suppress workers, completely corrupt. But when you look at the arc of American history, it's been when working people came up. We need to go local. Every solution I'm coming up with as a part of this movement, we're giving the science, which is the truth, and then we tell people what they can do on the ground. Like with election fraud, you don't need to wait for some lawyer. Our goal is to train people to go local, to go local, to go local, fight locally. Forget lawyers, forget politicians, forget celebrities. You got to learn politics, and there is a science to it. They lock us down, we should be ready to shut them down. And the fourth part of this principle is a not so obvious establishment. So when you look at a system, there's always something that disturbs you from getting to your goal. Well, the biggest disturbance is a not so obvious establishment, which are those people who claim they're for you, on the left and the right. The Al Sharptons who tell black people I'm for you, the Tucker Carlsons. Do you think any true anti-establishment person will ever be on Fox or CNN? I don't think so. They both mislead working people back into the establishment. Without this solid understanding of political physics and theory, you're screwed. You're going to follow on the left wing, Bernie Sanders. Oh, he said something. Or Robert Kennedy. Scumbags. Or you're going to follow some right-wing talk show host. They're not going to lead us to liberation. It's us. We're building a bottoms-up movement, and that political physics, it's a nuclear science of change. Bottoms up. We have to organize to understand that there is people who talk a good game and then look at what they actually do, left and right. I'm sorry, Sean Hannity may say some good things, but I don't see the urgency in his voice to get something done, and it can only come when you weaponize yourself with the right knowledge. You need to be able to identify a rat. You know, Christ didn't go after the Romans, right? It was the Pharisees and the Sadducees who screwed him up. His own quote-unquote people. And that's where we're at. So these four concepts I've built into a curriculum where people can go to truthfreedomhealth.com, and it's an educational program. We need to train people in political theory. You need to have physics, and I've created that curriculum. People need to get educated. We need to get educated fast. And within a half an hour, I can teach people. 2 years of MIT control systems, I teach people those concepts. Then I apply it, anyone can understand it. And then you say, oh, I got to build a bottoms-up movement. They have to get politically astute, and then they have to go locally and act, not sit there on social media. They have to act locally, defy locally, do civil obedience locally, but with knowledge on how to build a movement. Now, the Senate campaign's expanded to the Movement for Truth, Freedom, and Health, and they can find it on truthfreedomhealth.com, so people can sign in, they can get access to a bunch of videos. If they want to take a course and become a Truth, Freedom, Health leader, I offer a full scholarship there, but we want people to make a commitment that they'll study, that they'll get certified, that they'll go do activities on the ground. So go to truthfreedomhealth.com.
All right, everyone, there's a movement that's driving everything we do in the aspects of science, the area of politics, and health. So we have a framework. So I hope you guys take advantage of this, because you're not going to get it anywhere else. And it's going to be an immense value to advancing you as a human being and helping you to educate. There are many different contribution plans, as you can see. I recommend to start as a member, because there's an entire, very deep course called Get Off the Plantation. It'll help you come to terms with yourself. Do you want to get off the plantation, or do you want to be a slave? You can be a supporter, and we give you more and more gifts of knowledge and education, or you can contribute a little bit, and you can get all 15 gifts, but get involved. Become a warrior scholar, for those of you who want to really leapfrog this and get involved. But understand that when you contribute, we'll give you knowledge, we'll give you support, we give you a community. Anyway, that's the background of what's motivating everything we do. So let's also recognize we have an open house every Thursday, 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. You're all welcome to join. So what are you going to learn today? First of all, we're going to give you the background on Tinospora cordifolia. What is diabetes? Why does it occur from the information we know today? We're going to then talk to you about Cytosolve, which is a revolutionary platform, a revolutionary solution in science that helps us innovate products using food and medicine. And we'll share with you our own initiative. We're taking a fresh approach. And by the way, there's not any one way to solve these problems. We're talking about Tinospora cordifolia, but doesn't mean that's going to work for everyone, right? This is a very, very complex systems problem. This is why no one's really cracked the code on it, okay? But we are making headway by taking a systems approach. And so there's a lot of work to be done here, but that's what we're doing. And then we'll talk about how Tinospora cordifolia reduces diabetes. And we'll talk to you about how much Tinospora cordifolia. We'll also talk to you about the reality. Is it right for you? Because we're about the right medicine for the right person at the right time. And then we're going to share with you on how you can be part of this initiative. Okay? So again, as I started off, Tinospora cordifolia is referred to as the queen of all herbs. Tinospora cordifolia is a natural herbal shrub widely recognized for its therapeutic potential. It is traditionally used in the treatment of various chronic and metabolic disorders, including jaundice, gout, and diabetes. The plant's medicinal properties are attributed to its phytochemical richness, with beneficial compounds found in its leaves, stems, roots, and extracts. These phytocompounds contribute to its wide-ranging health benefits and support its reputation as a valuable herb in traditional and modern medicine. The traditional and indigenous uses of Tinospora cordifolia, a medicinal plant widely recognized in India. European practitioners based in India regarded Tinospora cordifolia as a rich source of therapeutic compounds, traditionally used as a tonic, diuretic, and for managing fever. Moreover, it emphasizes the plant's importance in Ayurvedic medicine, where it is commonly included in formulations to treat a variety of health conditions, including dyspepsia, diabetes, and urinary disorders. Traditional practices such as Ayurveda, Siddha, and Unani have long used this plant to support general health and treat common ailments, reflecting its widespread acceptance in holistic healthcare. And all parts of the plant possess immunomodulatory properties, indicating its potential role in enhancing or regulating immune system functions. Overview of diabetes, a condition that occurs when the pancreas does not produce enough insulin or when the body is unable to effectively use the insulin it produces. It identifies three main types of diabetes: type 1, type 2, and gestational diabetes. Type 1. Diabetes typically requires individuals to take insulin daily, as their bodies cannot produce it on their own. In contrast, type 2 diabetes can often be delayed or prevented through proper diet, exercise, and lifestyle changes. Gestational diabetes develops during pregnancy and usually resolves after childbirth, though it may increase the risk of developing type 2 diabetes later in life. So this image shows the difference in how glucose regulation differs in a healthy person versus someone with type 1 or type 2 diabetes. In the normal state, insulin allows glucose to enter the cells through transporters like GLUT4. In type 1 diabetes, insulin is absent, so glucose stays in the blood. In type 2, insulin is there, but the body resists its action. Both lead to high blood sugar, but for different reasons. The main intervention strategies used in the management of diabetes. It begins with oral medications, including metformin, which reduces glucose production in the liver, and sulfonolates, which stimulate the pancreas to produce more insulin. Other oral drugs include SGLT2 inhibitors, which aid in eliminating excess sugar through urine, and DPP-4 inhibitors, which help lower blood glucose levels. Another critical intervention is insulin therapy, which involves administering insulin in different forms, rapid-acting, long-acting, and intermediate-acting, to manage blood sugar levels effectively, particularly in those who cannot produce enough insulin on their own, and also GLP-1 receptor agonists, which work by enhancing insulin secretion and thus help lower blood sugar. Together, these treatment options are tailored to individual needs to maintain optimal blood glucose control. Now, 537 million adults are living with diabetes, and we're going to look at how Tinospora cordifolia helps with diabetes. And the way we're going to approach this is we have a very powerful technology called Cytosolve, which I spent many, many decades developing. So for many, many reasons, you'll discover with the modern advent of the field. But we're applying this to everything, and it was only recently that we decided, why don't we apply it also to diabetes? Okay? And in order to understand that, I'd like to share with you what the Cytosolve innovation process is. What do we actually do at Cytosolve to go through this process? Well, the first step we do is in any field, we build a molecular architecture of that phenomenon by looking at all the papers that have been written in the field and then publish. And then the next thing we do is we mathematically convert those molecular systems into rate equations using physical chemistry. And then we do a combination screening using those models. And then we go through the process of finding if any of the combinations we put together actually lead to discoveries, and we patent them, and then we license and manufacture them. So right now, you can see we have many, many different areas of health and disease and well-being we're going at that are in different phases of development. Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, Phase 4, Phase 5, Phase 6. In Phase 6, we've already developed 2 very powerful products. We have about 5 different discoveries we've made, which have gotten patents. We have about 5 different areas. In Phase 4, we're doing actual screening. We have another 6 areas we're doing modeling. Another 5 areas we're doing publications. Another 10 areas we're doing systems, architectures, and all of you can participate in this. We're going to actually start enabling all of you to donate to these, or even if we decide to spin out the company's own pieces of this. We're right now in the initial stage, so we're going to share with you some of that data. Now, one of the products we've already done this through, where we've gone through this whole process, is MV25. We built the systems architecture, then we published. Then we did the modeling, we did the combination screening, we did the discovery. What we did was, first we modeled all the molecular pathways of osteoarthritis, which is a disease that affects nearly 500 million people. But we did this with Cytosolve with, frankly, no funding. Then we published it, and then we did the modeling of it. And then we went through all these different natural foods in nature, and we found combinations of ingredients in this, and we put them together. And then we were very fortunate to discover something through this process. And we actually found 2 very powerful ingredients, the right dosages from nature that affect all these molecular pathways in this architecture to actually reduce pain and inflammation. And then to validate this, not only did we publish, but we got a United States patent. And that resulted in us, for the first time actually, not just helping other companies, but we actually manufactured it for your use. And so I'll play you this video. This will explain the Cytosolve process and how we did this. But we actually have a tangible solution that went through all these steps, and we can apply this to every disease on the planet. And that's one of the solutions we're doing. So I'll share with you about MV25, and this is what we're applying to diabetes. We're not there yet, but we're in the process of doing that.
Millions of people suffer every day from painful discomfort and swelling, but most pain medications come with harsh side effects, and many alternative supplements have little scientific backing. That's why we at Cytosolve created MV25. MV25 was formulated using the Cytosolve Computational Systems Biology Platform, a technology for precision and personalized health invented by Dr. Shiva during his doctoral research at MIT. This formulation is the result of computing trillions of potential combinations of biomolecular interactions derived from thousands of peer-reviewed scientific papers published across 4 decades by 68 research institutions to discover an optimal synergy of compounds that downregulate biomarkers of discomfort and normal swelling.
Hi, I'm Barbara Ann. My hands would cramp up so that I couldn't hold cards or knit or crochet, and they would go like that. And I'd have to use this when I played cards with my grandkids. And I started taking that MV25. After a bit, I was able to hold cards in my hand, very, very little cramping, hardly at all anymore. MV25.
Hi, my name is Sandy. I'm a Taekwondo instructor. I tore my ACL during Taekwondo. I had a lot of pain and limited mobility. I've been taking the MV25 for about 6 months now. After the first week, I noticed a big difference. After the second week, almost literally no pain.
My name is Jeremy, and I suffer from a lower back problem. Hurt my back at work years ago, and I can go to the chiropractor, do all kinds of different things, and nothing seems to help. And I decided to try MV25. I didn't notice a difference immediately, but within a few days the pain went away, and it stayed away. I've continued to take it, and even when I do things that I shouldn't do, it seems to go away a lot quicker than it ever did before.
MV25 is certified clean, 100% non-GMO, made in America, and GMP certified for good manufacturing practices. MV25 is Cytosolve optimized, which means that this formula has been engineered to maximize benefits while minimizing toxicity based on current research curated by Cytosolve. As the science advances, so will this formulation. This is our promise. Order online at mv25.life. Consult your doctor before taking any supplement or medication and use as directed. MV25.
So this is beyond just theory. A lot of people think that you can just talk about stuff without ever having to do anything. But here we've gone end to end with a powerful solution that can really help the world, which is helping the world buy this completely different way of doing development, independent of big pharmacists. So go to mv25.life. We call it the momentum to move. Order this product to help you, and it's a way you can also support everything we're doing. Just so you know, I have 2 wonderful dogs, and I love pets. We're against animal testing. So we did the same approach to create a product called K9701, which takes about 15 to 20 different ingredients from nature and really creates a whole health product. And you can get that for the whole health pet supplement right here. And yes, we've also created another powerful product called Healthy Tea. It comes in 7 different varieties, each designed to support a specific health need, like joint tea, digest tea, breathe, tranquility, detoxy tea, femini tea, and finally, immunity tea. And now, here comes your body, your tea, arranged specially crafted to help balance your doshas and support overall well-being. This collection includes Vata tea, Pitta tea, Kapha tea, Vata Pitta tea, Pitta Kapha tea, Kapha Vata tea, and Tridosha tea. Since we're talking about diabetic health, I recommend immunity tea and Tridosha tea, as they may help reduce diabetes. We have also launched a new product category focused on immune function. The first product in this line, D3K2 Magnesium Immune Foundation, combines vitamin D3, vitamin K2, and magnesium glycinate, backed by decades of scientific research, to support and strengthen immune health. Building on this foundation, our second product, zinc, copper, quercetin, immune activation, delivers a powerful blend of science-backed, synergistic nutrients formulated to activate and optimize your body's natural immune defenses. So there we go. So now our Cytosolve Diabetic Health Initiative is at this phase. We're just starting, so there's a lot of opportunity for all of you to participate in this. We're open sourcing the way that we share knowledge and information, so you guys can be a part of this. So let me go back to this. So the systems architecture that we're looking at is how dysfunction of beta cell cause diabetes. This insight sets the foundation for identifying natural or synthetic interventions through the subsequent phases in the pipeline. We're actually going down to the root of the problem. This slide compares the normal physiology of pancreatic beta cells with the mechanisms leading to their dysfunction, focusing on insulin secretion pathways. On the left, under healthy conditions, glucose enters beta cells via GLUT2 transporters and is metabolized to produce ATP. This increase in ATP closes ATP-dependent potassium channels, causing depolarization and the opening of voltage-dependent calcium channels. The resulting calcium influx, along with intracellular calcium mobilization from the endoplasmic reticulum, triggers the release of insulin vesicles. Signaling molecules like CAMP further enhance insulin secretion. On the right, dysfunctional beta cells show disrupted signaling due to factors such as lipotoxicity, glucotoxicity, and oxidative stress. These lead to reactive oxygen species production, UPR activation, and impaired calcium mobilization. Chronic stress also promotes pro-apoptotic signaling, reduces proper insulin synthesis, and contributes to V cell death, ultimately impairing insulin release. The key factors contributing to the development and progression of diabetes are genetic factors that predispose individuals to the condition, followed by immune system reactions and environmental factors that can trigger or worsen it. Lifestyle aspects such as a sedentary lifestyle, psychological stress, smoking, alcohol consumption, and a high carbohydrate diet are identified as major modifiable risk factors. The slide also notes that the use of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs, may influence diabetic health. Collectively, these factors provide a systems-level view of the complex interactions that lead to diabetes, setting the foundation for further modeling and intervention strategies. Then we will publish. Next, we'll process everything and build out our models to bring the whole picture together. And these are the 25 natural compounds that have been identified to potentially support in managing diabetic health. Those are aloe vera, cinnamon, Momordica carantia, ginger, bitter melon, Osmum basilicum, Panax sp, fenugreek, ginseng, neem, cayenne pepper, oregano, berberine, Gymnema sylvestre, garlic, turmeric, Tinospora cardifolia, fennel moringa, prickly pear, rosemary, silimarium, gem and fruit, amla, and centella. These 25 things, there's data on this, but the reality is, this is why there has been no breakthrough, because you'll see all these videos on these, but they're issues. How do they work in combination? How do you crack the code on this? And that's why we want to do that. We're not here to say that we have a solution, but what we're here to say is we're taking the systems approach, okay? We can, once we have this architecture laid out, we can actually use it to figure out what's actually going on. But today we're going to talk about Tinospora cordifolia, one of these 25 potential things that can reduce diabetes. Now, from our Cytosolve research, we have found out that Tinospora cordifolia is a widely researched dietary supplement, and there are 598 research articles, 14 clinical trials. Over 38 years of scientific research have been done on this. There are 21 key molecules involved in Tinospora cordifolia. There are many others, but these are the key ones that have been well researched. Active chemical compounds identified so far are minerals, vitamins, alkaloids, and other major compounds. 6 minerals are calcium, phosphorus, manganese, copper, iron, and zinc. It has vitamin C, and 8 alkaloids are berberine, palmitine, timbeterine, magnofluorine, tetrahydropalmitine, tinosporin, isocolumbin, and jatrorazine. Other major compounds are 18-norcleridane glucoside, fernanoid diterpene, glucoside, tinocorticide, tinocordifolioside, cortioside, and tinosporids. And here you can see the structures of the key active compounds in Tinospora cordifolia, including alkaloids such as berberine, palmitine, timbetarin, and jatrorizine. It also contains glycosides like cortifolioside A, syringin, and cortioside. Additionally, Tinospora cordifolia includes diterpenoids such as tinosporoside and sesquiterpenoids like tinosporofolin. The plant also has steroids beta-cytosterol that support cholesterol regulation and immune health, as well as aliphatic compounds like 1-octacosanol and 1-heptacosanol. Tinospora cordifolia exhibits multiple biological effects. Tinospora cordifolia has the immunomodulatory, antitoxin effect, anti-cancer, anti-arthritic, anti-HIV, antimicrobial, anti-diabetic, and antioxidant effect, coming to its health benefits. Tinospora cordifolia inhibits oxidative damage, cancer, diabetes, microbial infections, and arthritis. But let's look at what we have learned in our process of doing the combination screening relative to Tinospora cordifolia. And again, we're sharing with you original research, the insulin-mimicking effect of Tinospora cordifolia in regulating blood glucose levels. Bioactive compounds from Tinospora can bind directly to insulin receptors on target cells, mimicking the action of insulin and activating these receptors. Once activated, the receptors initiate a signaling cascade involving insulin receptor substrates, PI3K, and ACT. The activation of ACT plays a key role in moving GLUT4 transporters to the cell membrane, a process called translocation. With more GLUT4 present on the membrane, glucose from the blood can enter cells more efficiently, resulting in reduced blood glucose levels. This mechanism highlights the potential of T. cordifolia as a natural agent for improving glucose uptake and managing diabetes. Now let's look at another aspect, how Tinospora cordifolia compounds help in managing diabetes by reducing inflammation. The bioactive compounds in Tinospora activate PPAR gamma, a nuclear receptor involved in glucose and lipid metabolism. Once activated, PPAR gamma inhibits NF-kappa B, a transcription factor that normally triggers the expression of pro-inflammatory genes. By suppressing NF-kB activity, the production of inflammatory cytokines, such as TNF-alpha and IL-6, is reduced. This anti-inflammatory effect helps protect against complications like diabetic kidney disease, which are driven by chronic inflammation in diabetes. And we are now in the process, once we do this, we will then file patents and then we'll do production. So that's what the spin-out Cytosolve is going to do. We're right here at the systems architecture phase for Cytosolve. How can you help? Well, if you guys are interested, you can actually participate in this. If you want to take down this link, you can set up time to meet with us. If you want to support this, if you want to know more about it, you guys can actually participate in this, okay? But we're taking a very systematic approach towards this process. Next thing we want to share with you is that you can set up meetings if you want to talk about investment opportunities. You can also just go donate to vashiva.com/openscience and support the Cytosolve Open Science Institute. You can also come to our symposiums that we do on the first Tuesdays of every month. You can go register at cytosolve.com symposium. Again, absolutely free. But what we're doing at the Open Science Institute is we're committed to eliminating animal thing. We want to support indigenous medicines, which is a real fight against racism. Big Pharma does not believe in indigenous medicines. We also want to stop the fake science. We know over and over again, you see the false nature of big academia. They're fabricating research, they make up stuff, and they're getting away with it. And this is because there's an incestuous web of signs between big government, big pharma, big academia, and big publishers. And so you have billionaires now realizing that they are spending a lot of money on universities that aren't yielding, and they want to start their own institutions. Cytosolve offers a completely different approach where all of you can participate. So that's what I wanted to share this. All right, now we want to talk about the fact that the big pharma guys are not really into supporting food as medicine. And when we look at Tinospora, we have found through Cytosolve very powerful evidence, even in the literature of the establishment, to show that Tinospora has very, very powerful effects. All right, so we're going to share some of that with you right now. The extract is more effective than tramadol, a commonly used standard drug for pain relief. The bar graph compares the effect of Tinospora and tramadol on glucose concentration over different time points, 0, 30, 60, and 90 minutes, measured as mean latency time. Both treatments show a progressive increase in latency time, indicating analgesic action, but Tinospora demonstrates slightly higher or comparable efficacy to tramadol across all time intervals, supporting its potential as a natural alternative for pain management. T. cordifolia extract is as effective as vitamin C in this protective role. The graph shows the activity of serum creatine phosphokinase, an enzyme that increases in response to cardiac muscle damage. Cisplatin treatment alone results in a sharp rise in CPK levels, 690.16, indicating significant cardiac injury. However, co-administration of T. cordifolia, 332.33, or vitamin C, 331.8, 3 with cisplatin substantially reduces CPK activity, bringing it closer to normal control levels. These results suggest that Tinospora cordifolia offers strong protection comparable to vitamin C, mitigating cisplatin-induced heart damage. Tinospora cordifolia root extract, showing it to be as effective as glibenclamide in reducing cholesterol levels. The table presents cholesterol concentrations in serum, liver, heart, and kidney tissues across different groups. Diabetic, untreated animals show markedly elevated cholesterol levels compared to the control group, indicating hyperlipidemia. Treatment with T. cordifolia root extract at both 2.5 grams per kilogram and 5.0 grams per kilogram significantly lowers cholesterol in all tissues, with results comparable to those achieved by glibenclamide and insulin. These findings suggest that T. cordifolia root extract has strong cholesterol-lowering effects, making it a promising natural alternative for managing diabetic hyperlipidemia. So again, if you want to support this research, go to vashiva.com/openscience. Donate. You can donate to different initiatives. We have a diabetic health initiative. You can contribute to that. And by the way, when you contribute, we give you lots of books, lots of tools, so you can become a warrior scholar at Truth Freedom Health. Now, some people might ask, if Tinospora is so powerful, why aren't we all taking it? Well, the truth is, it's not one size fits all. It's about the right medicine for the right person at the right time. And what we want to educate you on is that we've also created a framework which helps you figure that out. And let's talk about that framework, okay? And when we talk about that, what does current science say? What's the right dosaging? The right science says, for example, for diabetes, Patel et al. Say to have 200 milligrams per kilogram of Tinospora. For anti-osteoporotic, Abiramasundari et al. Say to have 25 microgram per milliliter of Tinospora. For antioxidant, Sivakumar et al. Say to have 500 milligrams per kilogram body weight. For hepatoprotective, Sharma et al. Say to have 400 milligrams per kilogram body weight of Tinospora orally. High doses of Tinospora cordifolia may cause constipation as a side effect. The other piece is the tool that we've created called Your Body, Your System, which integrates engineering systems. Science with Eastern Systems of Medicine reveals a very powerful way to understand if it's right for you. You can use your body, your system, to understand what kind of system you are, whether your system's off course, and how do you bring your body back to you. So if you want to find if Tinospora cordifolia is right for you, first of all, you can recognize that if your body is here, when you take these questions, a red dot will move at different points, and it'll give the amount of transport, conversion, and storage you have. And you can see here that Tinospora cordifolia stabilizes Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Now, if your body at some point is here, is it right for you? Well, definitely it'll help you if your body's off. Of course, here it's going to bring you back. Obviously, the black dots here, it's going to take you away. But this is a condition where Tinospora may be right for. So again, we have these three powerful platforms. VA Shiva Systems Health allows you to understand the personalization of foods. Join us every 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. every other Fridays, and get involved in vashiva.com/tutorial. It's free. We educate people on the right medicine for the right person at the right time. Again, we're extremely generous with our time. We give away a lot of tools for free. People have argued that we shouldn't do that because when you give away stuff, people don't value it. But we want to err on the side of benefiting people. But I hope you guys get involved, but this will help you figure out if it's right for you. Not everything is right for everyone. You know, if you look at all the different things that claim that be good for diabetes, which is what we're analyzing with Cytosolve out of that, even if we find out all of them are good, a subset, will be good for you. And that's what your body, your system tool, allows you to figure out, okay? And allows to teach others to figure this out. So to sum it all up, Tinospora cordifolia is traditionally useful in treating diseases such as jaundice, gout, and diabetes. Importantly, it can mimic insulin action by regulating blood sugar levels and promoting the uptake of glucose into cells, thereby helping in glycemic control. Additionally, Tinospora cordifolia exerts an anti-inflammatory effect by inhibiting the NF-kappa B pathway, which reduces the production of pro-inflammatory molecules. This mechanism supports better pancreatic health and helps manage diabetes-related inflammation. And we are right now in Diabetosolve, which is a new spin-out at the systems architecture phase. Again, if you're interested in investment opportunities, you can go to this link and set up a time with us. But that's what we wanted to cover today on Tinospora cordifolia on diabetes. I hope you understand that we took a systems approach here, covering politics, covering health, covering science. If you want to get smart, if you want to get healthy, and you want to get fierce and strong, get involved in Truth Freedom Health. Again, a very powerful way all of you guys can support what we're doing, and yourself is to become a Truth Freedom Health Warrior Scholar. We gave many calls to action, so again, I hope this was valuable. Get involved, support the movement that we're building. It's really for you. There's nothing else we're doing here but to support your development. Get involved, get involved, get involved. Anyway, for those of you who joined late, today's discussion was on Tinospora cordifolia on diabetes, and this is a series we'll be doing. But get involved and support your advancement. Be well.